Welcome to MATCH B2B Insights. You doubled your pipeline. The board is happy. Sales is confident. The CRM looks fantastic. And 3 months later, nothing closes. Cash does not show up. That's the trap today.
Yeah, because a bigger pipeline can create a very convincing performance. More meetings, more stage movement, more deal names in the system. It looks like growth. But if the structure underneath is weak, you're not watching revenue build, you're watching optimism accumulate.
Pipeline is a story, cash is the ending, and finance lives at the ending. I don't get paid because the CRM feels busy. I get paid to ask, when does money arrive?
And from the execution side, this happens fast. Teams launch more outbound, SDRs book more meetings, calendars fill up, everyone says, great, momentum. But a booked meeting is not an opportunity. Sometimes it's just a polite conversation with no buying process behind it.
So let's frame this cleanly. Benny, Dan, Brian. What makes a pipeline look strong but behave weak?
A few things. First, pipeline is not revenue. It's a forecast of possibility. Second, companies confuse motion with progress. A deal moved from stage 2 to stage 3 so everybody relaxes. But if the buyer didn't add budget, urgency, or stakeholders, nothing actually changed. The pipeline got larger on paper, not stronger in reality.
I'd narrow it even more. If conversion is weak, the pipeline is a liability because people make decisions on it. Hiring, spend, board guidance, territory plans. If your pipeline doesn't convert, it doesn't just fail to help, it pushes bad decisions downstream.
I don't agree. The problem is not pipeline size. It's pipeline understanding. A large pipeline is not automatically dangerous. A misunderstood pipeline is dangerous. If you know which segment converts, which stage is inflated, which channel is weak, then a big pipeline is useful. If you just admire the total number, then yes, now it's a problem.
I get the distinction, but if the understanding isn't there, and often it isn't, then the thing behaves like a liability. That's my point. I'm not attacking volume. I'm attacking false confidence.
Wait, explain that again? What makes a deal dead but still alive?
A deal that's still in forecast, still in CRM, still shown to the board, but functionally gone. No next meeting, no new stakeholder, no timeline, no budget movement. It survives because nobody wants to mark it lost. So it gets recycled into next month, then next quarter. Forecast recycling, artificial optimism.
That phrase, recycled into next quarter, that's exactly what reps do when qualification was shallow at the start. They had a first call, maybe even a demo, but they never established why the buyer would change now. So when nothing happens, the deal isn't dead enough to close lost, and it isn't alive enough to close won. It just sits there.
So the board sees one number, but underneath it, there are really 3 categories: alive, dead, and undead.
Yes, the zombie pipeline. And zombie pipeline is dangerous because it hides structural GTM problems. Weak targeting, weak messaging, weak qualification. You can have a sales team working very hard on opportunities that never had a real chance to convert.
I'm paid to be paranoid. So I ask very simple questions. Do we hire based on this pipeline? Do we forecast revenue on this? If the answer is yes, then it feels healthy is not a metric.
And that's the heart of this episode. I'm Brenda, and on MATCH B2B Insights, I'm joined by Benny Fluman, our revenue strategist who designs full B2B revenue systems and GTM architecture. Dan Mercer, our CFO voice who keeps us honest on cash, risk, forecasting, and unit economics. And Brian Newman, who specializes in SDR execution, pipeline quality, and turning meetings into real opportunities. Today, we're breaking down why more deals do not necessarily mean more cash. Brian, let's go practical. How does activity inflate pipeline without improving quality?
Easy. You increase outbound volume. More sequences, more demos, more first meetings. But targeting gets broader, messaging gets less precise, qualification gets lighter. So the top of funnel expands while FIC declines. The SDR team can honestly say, we booked twice as many conversations, and the business can still get fewer real opportunities.
And this is where companies confuse pipeline generation with pipeline design. Outbound can absolutely inflate pipeline, especially when the goal becomes meetings instead of progression. We see this a lot with companies we work with. They think the engine is healthy because activity is high, but the architecture is weak. The system is producing volume, not conversion.
Walk me through the math then. If meetings double but conversion drops, what breaks first?
Cost efficiency. Fast. Let me give you a real-world example. In Pipeline 360's March 2026 survey of 555 marketing professionals, 54% said their content strategy was advanced, but only 19.1% tracked pipeline contribution as a core metric. That's the problem in miniature. Lots of confidence, not enough proof. Now put that next to a sales team with pipeline up 40%, conversion down, and a longer sales cycle. Reps spend more time on low probability deals, managers forecast off inflated stages, and CAC rises because you're funding more activity to get less revenue.
That 40% number sticks. Pipeline up 40%, and still worse economics?
Exactly. Pipeline up 40%, conversion down. Sales cycle longer. That combination is toxic because cash gets delayed while cost arrives now. Salaries, tools, commissions, travel, those don't wait for the quarter after next.
And the hidden issue is deal velocity, not just volume. How long does a deal sit in each stage? Where does it stall? Are proposals moving? Are demos converting to next steps? If 10 deals move to proposal, but 7 of them sit there for weeks with no stakeholder expansion, that's not progress. That's pipeline theater.
Let me try to say that back. If a deal changed stage, that doesn't mean it advanced. It might just mean the CRM was updated?
Almost. The missing part is buyer behavior. Real progression means the buyer is doing something costly or risky on their side. Bringing in procurement. Scheduling technical review. Confirming budget. Adding a decision maker. It moved inside your system is meaningless if nothing moved inside theirs.
That's the test, not seller effort, buyer commitment. I don't care that you had a great demo on Tuesday if Friday looks exactly the same.
And reps can get trapped here, by the way. They think, well, prospect liked the call, fine. But like the call is not an economic event. A real opportunity has friction. It pulls more people in. It creates deadlines. It earns a next step that matters.
So where should leaders look first if they want the truth?
Stage aging, conversion by stage, time to close by channel. Very boring metrics. Very useful metrics. Forecast is almost always optimistic, so I want the places where optimism goes to hide.
Yes, and tie that back to GTM. If outbound is creating lots of stage 1 and stage 2 deals, but almost nothing reaches late stage with velocity, that's not a sales problem alone. That's targeting, positioning, qualification, and sometimes pricing. Pipeline weakness is usually a system issue, not a heroic rep issue.
This is why you need a structured 6-month system, not a 1-quarter burst. You don't fix pipeline quality in 1 quarter because the bad assumptions are already sitting in the CRM. When we build pipeline systems, we look at message market fit, qualification criteria, stage definitions, and follow-up discipline together.
And let's bring in AI, because everybody says AI now, but make it useful. Not shiny, useful.
Practical use case. AI can tell you which deals are alive and which are just sitting in your CRM. It can flag stalled opportunities, missing next steps, long gaps in communication, and deals that changed stage without real progression signals. That's valuable because it forces honesty at scale.
As long as it shows the assumptions, I don't want magic. I want a clear reason a deal was flagged. No buyer reply in 21 days. No meeting booked. No new stakeholder. Fine, now we're talking.
Right. AI shouldn't replace judgment. It should surface patterns humans miss when there are 200 deals on the screen. Which demos never got a second meeting? Which proposals sit untouched? Which reps are advancing deals without multi-threading? That's operational value.
Okay, final takeaway. 3 things. 1. Pipeline size is meaningless without conversion. 2. Track velocity, not just volume. 3. Your forecast has to reflect reality, not hope. And remember this line: pipeline does not pay salaries, cash does. If you want to build a more effective GTM system, one that turns pipeline into actual revenue, reach out to MATCH B2B. Benny, Dan, Brian, thanks for making this painfully clear.
Painfully clear is usually the useful kind.
That's the standard.
And better than a healthy-looking pipeline with no cash behind it.